Guys, the Ultimate Rod Series is back. Today we are talking lipless crankbait rods, the ultimate lipless crankbait rod. We've got three options here. It's Brian again, American Legacy Fishing Company. We're going to talk to you about rods, and we absolutely love doing these videos. And today this is one that I really enjoy. As we get into that early springtime period, fish are swimming to the backs of the creeks and starting to get moving towards their spring pre-spawn areas. These big fish, I'm talking the giant females, the fish of a lifetime, the fish of the year, that's when they start going back to these flats, and you can pick them off. You're not going to get many bites, but when you get one, it's going to be a giant with these lipless crankbaits combing these flats. And we're going to tell you exactly what rods you need to buy to put your personal best in the boat this spring. So for those of you that are not familiar with the series, we take three price points. The ultimate lipless crankbait rod under $150, the ultimate lipless crankbait rod under $300, and the I don't care what it costs, just give me the best. And that's the ultimate lipless crankbait rod, if you will. So before I get into the real stars of the show today, the rods themselves, let's talk about the characteristics that we want in a good lipless crankbait rod. First, let's talk length. I want something that is certainly 7 foot or over. This is a presentation where you're not making short pitches and short little casts. You're bomb casting this thing as far as you can. You're typically on flats. Let's operate under the assumption that we've got some sparse cover, maybe a little bit of patchy grass. Combing it across the flats, looking for big fish. So we want to be able to give ourselves the biggest advantage possible when it comes to distance. A rod over 7 foot is going to do that for you. Now, if I had to pick an ideal length, give me something 7.2 to 7.4, 7.6, totally fine. But yeah, let's shoot for 7.2 to 7.4 in a perfect world. Next thing, power. This is a crankbait rod, and we want something that has plenty of forgiveness in the tip. However, we need something that if you're going to be snapping it out of some sparse grass, if you're going to be able to impart some action on that bait, give it a little stop-go retrieve, snap it a little bit, you need some backbone. It can't just be all parabolic action. So we want something that's got kind of that smooth transition from a very soft tip into, it doesn't have to be backbone, but it is some form of rigidity in the rear part of the rod. So that's kind of what we're looking for. It's awfully similar to a bladed jig rod, and that is something that I think you could honestly cover both bases with the same rod. More on that here in a little bit. But that's what we're looking for as far as the action goes. The rest of the stuff, let's just make sure it's a quality rod with quality components. We don't want a super long butt section. We just want everything else to be fairly normal. The length and the action / power are the things we are looking for that are most important. So without further ado, let's start with the ultimate rod under $150. And I know I sound like a broken record at this point if you've been watching these, but the Shimano Intenza gets the pick again here. No one buys these rods. I've said that 4 or 5 videos now, and I'm just telling you that is, without being rude, that is incorrect. These are unbelievable rods for $150. Unbelievable. Performances of a $250, $300 rod, especially when we're talking moving baits. Sure, on the bottom contact stuff, the sensitivity is not quite there. But when we're talking moving baits, which this certainly falls into that category, these rods are an incredible value. The model we've chosen is the 7.2 medium heavy glass. And this rod is an unbelievable bladed jig rod, as teased earlier, but it also makes a perfect lipless crankbait rod. So what you can do with this, you can launch a lipless crankbait. We're talking a 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce, 3/8 ounce, whatever you want. You're going to be able to get an incredible amount of casting distance. It loads up very well. The transition is smooth from tip to butt, perfect loading capabilities. And then whenever you hook a fish, it has enough tip to absorb that impact, not blow a hole in their mouth, and hopefully keep them pinned even if they jump or thrash around the boat. Guys, it's got 2 treble hooks. You're going to lose some fish, but our goal is to keep that number as small as possible, keep the number that you get in the boat as high as possible, and the rod's really important to help you do that. And that's why we want this 7.2 medium heavy glass. Price point, right at $149.99. You got a nice split grip handle. If I had my choice here, you're going to have that thing up against your forearm. I'd prefer a full cork handle. Split grip doesn't really matter. That's totally personal preference, so all good there. Just an excellent, excellent rod at that $150 price point. Definitely give this one a look. It is a very, very good one. So moving on, under 300. We're going to go under 300 by a decent chunk here. I believe these are $249, $259.99. It's the Dobyns Champion XP. This is a new model, the DC 746CB. And the thing about this rod that I really like, 7'4" in length, excellent length, perfect length. Going to make long casts. Has plenty of tip to it. Transitions into a fairly solid backbone. Again, I wouldn't even call it backbone per se. It's just not a totally parabolic rod, and that's, again, what we want. It's a fairly thin diameter blank, very, very lightweight. You can fish it all day. It's not going to wear you out. Again, it's going to do really well with those 3/8 up to 5/8 ounce baits, and you could still throw a 3/4 ounce lipless if you need to on it. So it's got a wide range covered on that particular side of things. And we've got a full cork handle, which again, I like. The length of it is perfect, so it's not going to be, stabbing past the back of your sweatshirt and getting in the way when you're trying to launch a new cast out there. Perfect length there, perfect length of the rod, great lure rating. Dobyns Champion crankbait rods are just some of the best on the market. That is, anybody that's been buying high-end rods, they just know that. They're absolutely awesome. Gary puts an incredible amount of work and detail into getting the perfect crankbait actions, and he's nailed it with this 746CB. Excellent lipless crankbait rod, and you can use it for some medium and even some deeper diving crankbaits as well. So again, you're spending almost $300. Let's try to get more than one application out of these. I'm all for that. Let's see if we can do more than one thing, and this rod will do it in the crankbait realm. So DC 746CB is the ultimate rod under 300. Now, for the Mac Daddy of them all, my favorite one, and I will tell you, this was unanimous. We didn't even have to really think about it. This is actually, the one I have is actually, it's a staff member's rod that we've actually used. Like this is a rod we fish with. It is absolutely my favorite lipless crankbait rod. It is the G Loomis IMX Pro 855C CBR. So it's a 7'1", and that's my only, if I gave it one half of a strike, it would just be, I wish it was a touch longer. I wish it was 7'2" or 7'3" or 7'4", but it doesn't matter. The action is so perfect that small minuscule difference is totally irrelevant to me. It just has that unbelievable profile that that seems to be impossible for people to achieve on rods anymore. It's considered to be a fast action. And so some of you big-time Shimano enthusiasts might remember these, but there were the Shimano Crucial rods of many years ago that had the full cork handles. They had a medium fast action. That action was so perfect. It was just unbelievable. Even though they classify this as a fast, it feels like those old Crucial medium fast action rods. And those crankbait rods were second to none. Like people sought those out for years after they were discontinued. It feels like they've recreated that in this IMX Pro lipless crankbait rod, but in a high-end platform with the wonderful G Loomis graphite, with the exceptional components, a nice full cork handle. I'm telling you, this is the lipless crankbait rod to own. If you're going to buy a high-end lipless rod, this is the one you want to get. It's an unbelievable bladed jig rod. Unbelievable. Every time I suggest this rod for a bladed jig, it kind of confuses people because it's got a little picture of a lipless crankbait there. But I'm telling you, just if you buy this rod, use it for a bladed jig and tell me you don't put more fish in the boat because of it. It just loads up so well. If you can't tell, absolutely love this thing. It is a rod that I wish didn't have a lipless crankbait on the side of it because we'd sell a lot more of them, but it does, and there's a good reason for that, because for the purposes of this video, it's the best lipless crankbait rod you're going to find. Guys, I appreciate you watching. Give us a little subscribe down below, and let us know in the comments, what other Ultimate Rod series do you want? What other techniques? Which ones are we missing? What do you want to hear about? Let us know. We'll see you next time.